Hey everybody, it's Christopher K. Smith. This video should last about 15 minutes, then I'm going to talk about the range bands trend dashboard for Thinkorswim. So before I go too far, I just want to mention you can get this indicator for free at fibtools.sells.com, along with some of my other offerings, which I'll talk about a little later. So here we're going to talk about the range bands trend dashboard, and basically what it does is that the objective is to replace the standard Marketwatch columns that you have in Thinkorswim with columns that show you trending information for your symbols, as well as some other useful information like is the symbol in an up or a downtrend? What about different time frames? What about the squeeze indicator? Is it overbought or oversold? So the dashboard helps answer questions like that. So unfortunately, the setup process is somewhat manual, so we're going to go through that in the video. This video should last just about 15 minutes, by the way. So you want to have Thinkorswim open. You want to be in the Marketwatch column. You want to have the files for the indicator extracted and available on your hard drive, and I see there's about a dozen of them. RB last, RB net, etc. And once you have those, you want to go over there into the Marketwatch tab, and you want to click on the little icon over here and select Customize. Now the first thing you want to do is remove everything except for the symbol and the 52-week high and low. So we're going to go down here and remove all this stuff. That'll leave you with the symbol, 52-week high and low. Okay, next up you want to, over here on the left side, select Custom Columns. And you're left with about 20 custom columns. So you're going to find the first available one and click Add. And then this window pops up. And here you're going to put in RB last. Then you're going to go ThinkScript Editor, and you're going to find the file for RB last from the file system here. You're going to double click it. And you're going to select that. Select all. Control C to copy, and then come back here, Control V to paste. Okay, once you've done that, you'll see, you click over here, and now RB last appears as a custom column. We'll click OK. We'll see now that we have our new RB last column, which is basically just the last price always appearing in green. So you need to go through and configure all the additional columns. And fortunately, this study comes with a Word document that looks like this. And the Word document takes you through each one of the columns and how to set it up and what file name to use. So if the columns don't exist yet, you need to add them using the custom quotes. In my case, they already exist, so I'm going to go through and just add the remainder of the columns. It's going to go down to the R's for RB. And I'm going to add the RB last, then the RB net change, RB trend, RB range X, which I don't see in here. Okay, so for RB range X, we'll choose one of our custom columns. And I'm going to grab the RB range X. Select all. Control C to copy. Come back, Control V to paste. Call this RB range X. Okay, now we have, let's move the 52-week high and low down. Okay, now we have an idea what the indicator is going to look like. We have our symbols, our last price, our net change. We can see CMG was up 25 points on the day. Google was down 29. We see our trend indication. This is the daily time frame, neutral for no trend, blue for uptrend, and red for downtrend. Next column is the range X. Now this is new in this release, and this is basically the number of average true ranges if the price is above or below the midpoint. So recall the way the range bands works is when the last price is greater than 1.05 times the average true range above the midpoint. It's in an uptrend. We can see the range over here is 1.73. When the price is below 1.05 times the average range to the downside, we'd see that it's in a downtrend. We see IWM in this case is minus 1.08, so it's just barely in a downtrend. The range X is helpful because it lets you get an indication, is the symbol in an uptrend or downtrend, obviously, and how far above or below the midline is the price in terms of average true ranges. So you'd want to be cautious about, for example, selling when the price is already, in the case of Facebook, over 3 average true ranges below its midpoint. Okay, so that's a good start. Let's go on and add the other columns. We're going to go and add next the range bands indicator in multiple time frames. So let's go ahead and add the range bands in 5 minute, and I believe I have it in 4 hour. Do I have it in hourly? Actually, yeah, 5 minute, hourly, and then daily. Actually, I believe we already have daily with the range, so let's go 4 hour. Okay, next up we're going to add the squeeze columns. Actually, let's go ahead and look at that. So now we see the range bands in 3 different time frames, 5 minute, 60, and 4 hour, and is the symbol going up or down. Okay, and we're just going to add a couple more columns here, and those would be the squeeze columns. So I believe I saved those as S. Yeah, I have S15 for the 15-minute squeeze, S60 for the 60, and SD for the daily squeeze. Okay, we'll click OK. And there's our complete presentation for the trend dashboard. We can see the squeezes when the symbol is squeezing on that time frame, it appears in green. Otherwise, it's red. For example, Amazon in this case is in a 4-hour squeeze. Let's go ahead and open this to a larger number of symbols. Let's say the NASDAQ 100, because a lot of good tradables in there. And now we can see there is a limitation to how many columns this can show. Right at about 30 or 40 in NASDAQ 100, I start to run into a limitation of how many of these things can be displayed. But for example, let's take a look at Autodesk ADSK. It looks like it's in a squeeze on the dailies. Where you can very quickly see that, and you can go over to Autodesk and take a look at that. Okay, now the TTM squeeze indicator, we see that we're going into a red dot here, which indicates a squeeze. And usually squeezes happen during periods of consolidation leading up to earnings, so I expect we have an earnings release coming up here shortly in Autodesk. So that's the cool thing about the Marketwatch, about the customized trend columns, is you can see it how you could assess how your favorite tradables are. Are they in an uptrend or downtrend? How much above or below the midpoint are they? And then the same thing in the range bands in multiple time frames, as well as the squeeze indicator. So hope you find this interesting and helpful. And again, you can get this for free over in the FibTools sales store under Range Bands Trend Dashboard. I also have some other items up here. I want to quickly talk about the fib lines. Is my premier indicator. I have a free version of that, which has the fib lines indicator for QQQ, DIA, IWM, and the futures equivalents. And we have the full version of the fib lines indicator for $99. And fib lines essentially identifies hidden areas of support and resistance. So for example, let's go to booking.com. The form of price line, you can see in this case we're kind of consolidating between these orange and red lines. This red line here was the area of resistance at the bottom of the gap. And once the price has exceeded that gap and it bounced off this orange line to the top, we can see that we're finding support whenever we're at the bottom of this line here. So fib lines is excellent for finding hidden areas of support and resistance. It's based on the principles of Elliott wave and Fibonacci. If you want to find an introduction to that, go up to the YouTube and search for Introduction to Fib Lines, and you'll get my 20-minute video explaining what the indicator is, how it works, and whatever. So that is, again, available on the FibTools sell store, and it lets you do kinds of cool things like come up with future turning points for stocks. For example, Amazon. Let's see what it looks like. One of my favorites. We can see in the case of Amazon that our next area of resistance over here at $1,997. That's kind of my ultimate target for Amazon. We didn't get there after earnings recently, but I think we are going. I've been long Amazon for a while. Okay, so that's that, and also I've been having a lot of fun on the Tastyworks platform. I've been long Amazon for almost 400 points here. One share, unfortunately, but I'm also doing pretty well selling weekly options. So you can see I have a $10,000 account of about 14.5% for the year, and Just a quick example of what kind of trades I do. I'll sell an iron condor with a couple days to go, and in this case I sold the Google after earnings, and it moved against me. I took a 60 cent loss on that. Then I turned around later in the week and sold the 160 condor, iron condor, that I bought back a day later for 60 cents. So lost 60 there, made $1 there. I just made 40 cents on the week. Not big numbers, but the Tastyworks platform lets you do this kind of stuff because they charge $1 away for contracts, per commission per contract on the way in and nothing on the way out. So to put on a 4-lot iron condor cost me $4. That's opening and closing. So that's the Thinkorswim platform lets you do that, and it's really made my options trading a lot better. And it's a lot easier to scalp premium when commissions are low. And you have a great platform to execute in, which I think tastytrade is. So that's what I've been up to, and I still love the Thinkorswim platform, though, for its analysis and everything. It's a great platform. So hope you enjoyed this. Go ahead and check out my stuff, fibtools.sells.com. Good trading, and have a great day.